Hi, thanks for watching. This is a quick look at how Google views and ranks your website in search results. By understanding how the program works, you can use it to your advantage to increase the traffic to your site by getting it on the first page, so that way you're the first click and the first call whenever anybody is searching. Now, I've got your website pulled up here, and the layout looks great. We've got all the drop-down menus so people can get all the information that they need. Click to call is working. The only thing I could suggest here would be that this kind of takes up about half the screen. Usually when we build sites and they scroll down, this header would bump up to the top, so that would open up more of a viewing area so more information can be shown on the screen. As far as Google is concerned, when it's looking to rank a website, it's going to do so based on two factors. The first is the content. So it's going to come in and count all the words on the page. It's basically looking for a minimum of about 1,500 to 2,000 words because it assumes that the more information you have on the page, the more of an expert you are in your field, and the more likely it is to recommend you. Now, while it's counting words, it's also looking for keywords, which would be anything that somebody might type into Google search, which is generally going to be a service that you offer and then the area that you offer it in. Now, this is where the number of words comes into play because you're only allowed to have one of these keywords for every 150 words on the page. The second way that Google is going to rank your website is based on its authority, which is basically a popularity contest. There are two ways to build authority. The first is by getting what's called citations. Those are any time that your name, address, and phone number appear in an online directory. Those directories include Yelp, Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau. They're usually free to get. It just takes some time to find them, register your business information, and then input it exactly as it's shown in Google. The second way to build authority is through what's called backlinks, which is when another website links or refers back to yours. It acts as an endorsement that Google uses to build trust because others are vouching for you. You can kind of look at it similar to a customer review. If you had 1,000 five-star reviews, a new customer would think pretty highly of your business. Google is doing the same thing, except it's just using other websites to make that judgment. Now, to see how this determines where your website ranks, if we go back to the search, the first thing that you'll see pop up is called the map pack. This is actually a pretty important area to try to get into because anywhere from 40 to 60% of customers will just click on one of these top three listings. To be listed in here is free. You just need to fill out your Google business profile, which is inside the Maps app, so you can do it right from a smartphone. When doing so, you want to fill out as many of the fields as possible, including the services that you offer, the areas that you offer it in, even the hours of operation. Then you want to continuously add photos that are geotagged within your service area, as well as posts to the profile on a regular basis. Have customers leave reviews, and then you want to get as many of those citations as possible. Your name, address, and phone number, you want those listed in more directories than anybody else on this list. Then underneath that, this is what was called the organic search results. This is where the higher the authority or the more trust Google has in your site, the higher up on the list that it's going to rank. So to demonstrate this, I put your website into this tool that I use, and it shows me all the information that Google finds when it crawls your site for both the content and the authority. Now, just to define these terms, if the local news station did an article on the top 10 roofing companies in the South Shore area, and inside that article, the reader could click a link and it would bring them to your website, that would be considered one referring site or one referring domain. Now, to put a little context to these numbers, I've taken the top results from all three of these search areas and put them into the same tool so you can see what kind of content their sites are bringing and how they're ranking at the top of the page. Now, obviously, you can see that there's quite a difference in the number. So it's not just the quantity of these links, it's the quality for one. So for instance, we couldn't have like Pizza Hut linking back to your site because Google understands that you're a roofing company, you're not making pizzas, so that wouldn't add any authority. But it also has to do with what's called on-page optimization. So for instance, this company, the title of their website has the city or town's name in it. So when you're searching, it brings that up as well. And then also on the page itself, it matters not only how many times the word is referenced, but also where and how it's referenced. So for instance, if I can find a good example here, the the large header type words are weighted more heavily than just words that are found organically in a paragraph. So if we wanted to say rank your site for different locations, unfortunately, just having them listed like this isn't what's called organic. So Google isn't going to pick these up and weight them as heavily as if it was, say, for instance, we had the title here where it's large and emboldened. So those are some on-page SEO tricks of just how the website is built and set up, depending on what places you want to rank and what keywords you're trying to rank for. So as far as keywords, these are all the words and phrases that are being typed into Google search that are being found on your page. And then this is the volume, the number of times per month that they're being searched. So this is where we do some research to find all the highest volume keywords relative to the areas that you serve and the services that you offer, and make sure that those are being included on your page. So for instance, roofer in Plymouth, that's being searched 200 times a month. Right now, you're in the 18th position, which is going to put you at probably the bottom of the second or the top of the third page of Google. Fortunately, not too many people are going down that far to find you. However, if you were on the first page, 200 people a month will be seeing your website. We usually use a pretty conservative metric and say only 20 of those will convert into leads and actually give you a call. Now, I don't know what the conversion rate is for your particular business, but if we're even more conservative and say only a quarter of those actually convert into customers, you'd be looking at 5 new customers a month just off this one keyword. And then we would repeat that same process for all the other high volume keywords in the area and make sure that those are also being included on your site. So obviously each job has a different profit margin, but you can see how all those leads can add up to some revenue at the end of the month and at the end of the year. So I hope this information was helpful and it allows you to scale your online presence a little bit. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or you'd like me to go into any further details. Also, we could talk about your goals and I can do some research to find out what it would take for you to reach those. And I always appreciate getting feedback as well to find out if information like this is useful for you. So please let me know what you thought. Thanks, and I hope this helps.